Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our presentation on developing cellular and tissue level patterns for breast cancer detection. You are with me, Philly Ethel and Jongmin Kim. So let's start by looking at the global scale of the issue. Breast cancer remains the most common cancer in the world, and with 2.3 million new diagnoses and 670,000 deaths in 2022 alone. And what's particularly striking is that about 80% of these cases happen in women with no specific risk factors beyond sex and age. And are about 0.5 to 1% of breast cancers occurs in men, making it a cross-gender clinical concern. And on the right-hand side, I have one of the celebrities, Angelina Jolie, who underwent a preventive double mastectomy in 2023 after realizing she had a risk of developing breast cancer. So moving on to our research gaps, we identified that current models for breast cancer detection lack biologically interpretable explanation, and they struggle to capture multi-scale tissue relationships, and they often have a reduced performance across diverse population and clinical settings. So to overcome these challenges, we come up with our approach whereby we decided to propose a unified interpretable AI framework for breast cancer histopathology that jointly models cellular morphology, tissue architecture, and tumor microenvironment across multiple magnification scales. So, as you can see, our system, our approach is structured into 4 phases. We begin with data acquisition and multi-scale preprocessing to handle scale and stain variation, because these data sources are coming from different places. So obviously they have different stains. So there's a need to normalize those stains. And then this feeds to GeoBranch but scale GNN, graphical neural networks transform architecture, which models the relationship between the cells, grants, and tumor microenvironment. And now on phase 3 is dedicated to interpretability through concept bottleneck models and product-based reasoning, which maps AI predictions to the Nottingham grading system and provide audible case comparisons. And finally, phase 4 is our evaluation framework, where we assess the classification, localization, concept prediction, and prototype quality, as well as fairness. And moving on to our objectives, first of all, is to detect cancer cells over normal tissues and also to pinpoint suspicious regions within host-right images and to learn cellular tissue and tissue level biomarkers, as well as to explain model prediction using clinical and meaningful concepts. And at the end of the day, we would like to boost clinical trust in the hospitals, because yes, we can develop AI models, but they really need to be adopted, effective, and to be trusted.
Hello, this is next part presenter Jongmin Kim. However, our proposal has also some limitations too. First, longitudinal MRI pairing may not be available across all data sets. Second, concept bottleneck annotation requires significant pathological time. Third, prototype selection may introduce selection bias in case-based explanations. About these limitations, we also propose mitigation strategies too. First, phase 3 study will start with WSI and clinical variable only and MRI integration created as a phase 3B extension. Second, concepts bootstrapped from existing Nottingham graded labels using weak supervisions before expert refine also needed. Third, PEFC framework quantitatively scores our prototypes and low-quality prototypes automatically rejected too. Now, there are some expected impact of our proposal. First, precise tumor localizations enable clinicians to tailor a tailored treatment mechanism based on exact tissue and cellular bindings. Second, earlier and more accurate detection provides greater clinical intervention time, directly improving patients' prognosis. Third, continuous tracking of cellular patterns enable real-time treatment modification rather than guesswork-based management. Fourth, reducing diagnostic variability improves computational pathology access in resource-limited and undeserved healthcare settings. So it can more objective and accurate breast cancer tumor diagnosis and real-time and patient-specific personalized breast cancer treatment can be applied. And also, and also, development and clinical application of cost-effective commercially ba- commercially viable therapies and drugs. These are the summary of our proposal. Now, breast cancer is highly prevalent, but accurate diagnosis remains challenging. So, tissue-level breast cancer assessment and the lack of consistency in available data sets are current limitations of breast cancer diagnosis. For the solution, CNN and bottleneck-based interpretable AI model applications can be solution for pat- for detection, pattern identifying, and clinical interpretability. Now, this is our final page. Current breast cancer diagnosis still face limitations, including biological interpretation, challenges, and dataset-related errors. However, accurate AI dataset compilations and proper clinical application may soon enable more affordable, accessible, and precise breast cancer diagnosis through pattern identification and characterization. So, our research proposed a clinically grounded, interpretable AI framework that bridges the gap between high-performing machine learning models and the rigorous explanatory standard required in medical practice. Thank you for listening our presentation. Have a good day.